Oui. Okay. I'll read it in English. So we are studying today Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 2, text number 3. Divinity and Divine Service is the name of the chapter. Sutta Vacha Yam Anupetam Apeta Kricham Vipayanaha Viraha Kartara Ajuhava Putra iti Tatmayataya Taravaha Abinedu Tam Sarvam Bhutam Hridayam Munim Anatahasmin Yam Prachavantam Anupetam Apeta Kricham
Yam Prachavantam Anupetam Yam Prachajantam Anupetam Apeta Kricham Vepayano Viharakatara Hajuvaha Vepayano Vivarakatara Huajuava Putreti tanmayataya taravo binedus Putreti tanmayataya taravo binedus Tam sarva bhuta hridayam muni danatusmi Tam sarva bhuta hridayam munim nanatosmi Yam pracha chantam anupetam apeta kritam Vepayano vivarakatara dvajuvaha Putreti tanmayataya taravo binedus Tam sarva bhuta hridayam muni hanatosmi Yam pravajantam anupatam anutatrityam Yanavrajapantam anupetam apeta kricham Veyapano vilaha kata juhava Vepayano vivaraha tara juhava Putresita mayayata yatarano bindu Putretita mayata yataravo binedus Tam sarva bhuta hridayam muni hanatosmin Tam sarva bhuta hridayam muni hanatosmi Mataji
Yam pravajantam anupetam apeta krityam
Yam parijantam anupatam apeta krityam
Vapayano viraha katara ajuhava
Vepayano vilaha katala jurava
Putreti tanmayataya taravo abhinetus
Putretu tamayat yatta talalo abipetu
Tam sarva bhuta hridayam munim ananto asmi
Tam sarva bhuta hridayam muni anantosmi Personne d'autre? Somebody else. Sutta Goswami Uvacha said Yam Praja Chantam while going away for the renounced order of life Anupetam, without being reformed by the sacred thread.
Reformed by the sacred thread.
Apetam,
Not
undergoing ceremonies.
undergoing
Krityam, prescribed duties. Vepayana, Vyasadev, Vivara, separation. Katara, being afraid of. Ajuhava, disclaim. Putraiti, O my son. Tatmayataya, being absorbed in that way. Tarava, all the trees. Abinedu, responded. Tam, unto him. Sarva, all. Bhuta, living entities. Hridayam, heart. Munim, sages. Anatahasmi, offer obeisances. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Asya Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Sutta Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that great sage, Shukadeva Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all. When he went away to take up the renounced order of life, or sannyas, leaving home without undergoing reformation by the sacred thread, or the ceremonies observed by the higher castes, his father Vyasadev, fearing separation from him, cried out, 'O my son!' Indeed, only the trees which were absorbed in the same feeling of separation echoed in response to the grieved father." Purport. The institution of Varna and Ashram prescribes many regulative duties to be observed by its followers. Such duties enjoin that a candidate willing to study the Vedas must approach a bona fide spiritual master and request acceptance as his disciple. The sacred thread is a sign of those who are competent to study the Vedas from the Acharya or the bona fide spiritual master. Shishyoda Govinda Madhavaki, Gonitai Ki, Krishna Balaram, Jiraj Maharaj. Sri Shukadeva Goswami did not undergo such purificatory ceremonies because he was a liberated soul from his very birth. Generally, a man is born as an ordinary being, and by the purificatory processes, he is born for the second time. When he sees a new light and seeks direction for spiritual progress, he approaches a spiritual master for instruction in the Vedas. The spiritual master accepts only the sincere inquirer as his disciple and gives him the sacred thread. In this way, a man becomes twice born, or a Dvija. After qualifying as a Dvija, one may study the Vedas, and after becoming more versed in the Vedas, one becomes a Vipra. A Vipra, or a qualified Brahmana, thus realizes the Absolute and makes further progress in spiritual life until he reaches the Vaishnava stage. The Vaishnava stage is the postgraduate status of a Brahmana. A progressive Brahmana must necessarily become a Vaishnava, for a Vaishnava is a self-realized, learned Brahmana. Srila Shukadeva Goswami was a Vaishnava from the beginning. Therefore, there was no need for him to undergo all the processes of the Varnashram institution. Ultimately, the aim of Varnashram Dharma is to turn a crude man into a pure devotee of the Lord, or a Vaishnava. Anyone, therefore, who becomes a Vaishnava, accepted by the first-class Vaishnava, or Uttama Adhikari Vaishnava, is already considered a Brahmana, regardless of his birth or past deeds. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted this principle and recognized Srila Haridas Thakur as the Acharya of the holy name, although Haridas Thakur appeared in a Mohammedan family. In conclusion, Srila Shukadev Goswami was born a Vaishnava, and therefore Brahmanism was included in him. He did not have to undergo any ceremonies. Any low-born person, be it a Kirata, Una, Andhra, Purinda, Purkasha, Abhira, Sumba, Yavana, Kasha, or even lower, can be delivered to the highest transcendental position by the mercy of Vaishnava. Srila Shukadev Goswami was a spiritual master of Srila Sutta Goswami, and therefore offers his respectful obeisances unto Srila Shukadev Goswami before he begins his answer to the question of the sage of Naimisharanya. Hamaganati Minandasya Gananjada Sharatara Shachuru Minitam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Soyarupakada Madhyam Dharati Sabaratikam He Krishna Karina Sindhu Dinamandu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Veshavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchagarpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Yaiva Chapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation again. Srila Sutta Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that great sage, Shukadev Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all. When he went away to take up the renounced order of life, sannyas, leaving home without undergoing reformation by the sacred thread or the ceremonies observed by the higher castes, his father Vyasadeva, fearing separation from him, cried out, 'Oh, my son!' Indeed, only the trees which were absorbed in the same feelings of separation echoed in response to the aggrieved father. So, we are here in Naimisharanya, at the bottom of the Himalayan mountains, with Shukadev Goswami, representative of Shukadev Goswami, who is Sutta Goswami, in an assembly of sages, repeating what he heard from Shukadev Goswami, who was here when Maharaj Parikshit was waiting for death, being cursed by a son of a Brahmana who, in an access of anger, cursed him to die within 7 days. And it's like a conversation inside another conversation, like Russian puppets. One, then another one, then another one. Then in the following flow of Srimad Bhagavatam, we will see many stories like that. An history included in another history, included in another history. Because that's the process that the Bhagavatam is not given in a chronological order like we are accustomed in our society, but it's topics that are utterly important because they deal with the last word of knowledge, which is spiritual knowledge. And more intimate than spiritual knowledge is the knowledge of Krishna and how to become a lover of Krishna. This is much more confidential than just spiritual knowledge. It's more intimate, and it's have been developed by the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, and we have the immense chance, luck, of being born just 500 years after they disappear. And not only that, but writings are becoming freely available. It means they have been stored in some temples here and there, copied by hand. The duplication at this time was by hand on little booklets or palm leaves or banana leaves or something, some support. And by chance it had not been lost, because with all these invaders, the Mongols, the British, the Hunas, we speak here, the Hunas, Kiratas, Hunas, Khazars, these are people from China, Mongolia, low-born persons. They invade and plunder a lot of the riches of India, and they burn a lot of the scriptures that were available at this time. But they did, by the Krishna's arrangement, they didn't touch the jewel inside those scriptures, which was Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, and also in South India, Brahma Samhita, and some Upanishad. So the jewels of the Vedic knowledge was not lost, although thousands and thousands of books of the Vedic scripture were lost. Because Vedic scripture would give knowledge about many things: medicine, weaponry, jewels, how to manufacture, how to estimate, architecture, carving, trading, music, so many departments of knowledge which are important in a society, but not up to the point of who we are, who Krishna is, who God is, what is material nature, what is karma, and how kala, or time, agitates the three gunas to give some pastime, to so-called pastime, to the conditioned living entities, rotting in the material world, under the clutch of death, old age, disease, and birth, taking birth. Painful situation. We forgot all these episodes of the life, which were being true for thousands, millions of times, due to the influence of kala, time, that makes us forget it. Matashmityet ganam apohanamcha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that from him comes the loss of memory and remembrance. So Krishna is the master of the memory. Dependent how we want to remember him or forgetting him, then Krishna gives facilities and ultimately erase or revive the old memories. So if we keep chanting the mantra Hare Krishna Hare Rama, the process of remembering Krishna and his pastime, little by little, surges out. So the process is hearing Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and glorifying Krishna, Kirtan, And little by little, the remembering process becomes a reason, because Krishna wakes up the memories and maintains it. Not only Krishna, but his environment. Oh, the spiritual world is working with those energy. Sandini, Samvit, and Alladini. Or existence is generated by some Sandini. Joy is generated by Haladini. And Samvit is the energy of knowledge. So of course this knowledge is much more than just spiritual knowledge. Samvit and Haladini are completing themselves, because when you have knowledge of the glories of Krishna, then you become even more joyful. While people who are absorbed in Santaras or emerge in the Brahmajyoti or in the impersonal aspect of the world, or Brahmavadi or Paramatmati Vadis, so those people are in Santaras or emerge in the Brahmajyoti. They have no relationship with Krishna. So they are mostly influenced by the energy of eternity and some knowledge, but not complete knowledge. Complete knowledge means a knowledge of who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Knowledge of Krishna as a person and knowledge of his taste, how he enjoys rasa with his devotees. That's the food in the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan, to exchange some relationship even between devotees and with Krishna, Radharani, the gopis, the Vrajvasi. This is the real taste. And this taste can be aroused by when we are accustomed to the process of chanting and hearing and remembering. So remembering becomes an intimate aspect of the sadhana bhakti, and it is the limit of when you become more spontaneous, or when your service, you become joyful in your service. You don't see it, oh, so much I have to do, so much I have done. There are now so long to take, to have taste. Well, in such a stage, remembrance is difficult. It will come, but we have to be patient in order to have this taste and to keep it like a polish and maintain jewel, because that's the real jewel. But for this, service has to be done in a spontaneous way. Of course, at the beginning we do it in a mechanical way because we don't too much understand what we are doing. We don't realize the chance we are to be the company in the association of devotees and to be before Krishna every morning or like that. We don't value these things. They are given to you as a spiritual master, and it's difficult to appreciate at the beginning, because there are so many do's and don'ts. So we feel some pressure and some burden, and it takes some time to realize these are the way to run a certain kind of life. When we are accustomed to this kind of life, we become fit to be in the company of Krishna in the spiritual world, because we like it, and then the mind will spontaneously at the time of death be attracted like a magnet to iron, to the pastime and remembering Krishna, Because I very the test at the time of death is to remember Krishna. And when we are very sick, heavily sick, or near death, you see that the mind is going in so many ways, here and there. And the body becomes like comment on dit du plomb? Metal, stone. The body becomes stony, cannot move, or it takes so much energy and concentration of the mind to move the body or to go to the toilets or just waking up. The body becomes really a big burden. When you are young, your body responds as soon as you have some idea or something to do, then the body responds. But later on, you have to understand it will not respond the way you want. It will be done. What you will keep is your memory and your mental faculties. And eventually, if you remember Krishna, his pastime, his environment, the mood, the atmosphere, then you don't come back. That's the promise of Krishna. That's what he says in Bhagavad Gita. You come back to me. So, here we are hearing from Shukadeva Goswami, who was a person in such an advanced level that practically this kind of person has nothing to do in the material world. It should be in the spiritual world. They are here for the benefit of the lost jivas, the lost spirit souls rotting in a material body. So the way to do it is to approach such a person, inquire from him. But before inquiring, render him service. Paripatanya Sivaya Padekshantitaganas Janidas Tavadashna. Serve the spiritual master and inquire, not the opposite. Inquire, and if it fits me, then I serve. You know, we have to do the first step. Krishna is waiting for us for the first steps. And then he will reciprocate. Although the mercy, like the rain, is given everywhere, but who will respond? We see around us, not so many people will respond. When you sell jewels, don't expect so many people to buy them. Because they have their own jewels, what they consider their own jewels, sense gratification, more precious than what the devotees are doing. It's a whole world they cannot grasp. Only with service and some bits of knowledge, then this bit of knowledge or gyan becomes transformed in vigyan or realized knowledge. And with realized knowledge, you can have the key to enter in the pastime of Shri Krishna. Otherwise, they look like mythology or tales or imaginary things. But is Krishna imaginary? Krishna is a dire reality. Here it is imaginary. Because we imagine that sense gratification is good for us and it's the aim of life. So, that's the way the politician makes the people running for them. They tell lies, 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 word after word after word. And people, they take it as something truthful. unless the devotee comes and says, no, this is not truth. Forget it. The real truth is Krishna. So, where to invest our faith, what the devotee says, or what everybody, including the government, says. So those who have at least a little bit of coconut of intelligence, spiritual intelligence, they can recognize who is telling the truth. And also there is a question of mercy and what we have done in the past. If we are receptive or not, depends on the mercy of the spiritual master, of the devotee, or Krishna ultimately. But it depends also on what we've done in the past, in some past life. So nobody can check really why some people the seeds are growing and some people the seeds are not growing. Or they may grow after a few centuries or lifetime or whatever. So here Shukadev Goswami had the chance to be a witness of the departure of Maharaj Parikshit. And he gave this knowledge to Sutta Goswami. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explained what is the difference in between a Vaishnava and an ordinary spiritualist. Because when you go to India, you will meet a lot of temples and you will meet a lot of spiritual master or yogis or sages or rishis or ashram. So many. So what is the ultimate benefit? Even in between Vaishnava, you have 4 sampradayas who are said to be to become united in one sampradaya in the future, in this Kali Yuga age. It means that all these 4 sampradayas will one day merge into one Vaishnava sampradaya. And a lot of people will take advantage of the mercy given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Srila Prabhupada explains that this pastime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago, and he put this point prominent by enacting this pastime with Haridas Thakur and Advaita. Advaita is Vishnu Tattva. Same level as Krishna, Vishnu. So Advaita Prabhu, he was doing a ceremony for the ancestors, and some cooking were done. And the first offering have to be given to the most exalted Brahmana or Vaishnava. So at this assembly of sages, he gave to Haridas Thakur. So a lot of people were offended. What's going on? He's a Mohammedan. He was a Mohammedan. But he says, yeah, but he is Namacharya. He is the one who was given power to chant so many 3 lakhs of holy name per day. Who can do that? You can do that. Nobody. So he gave this service to this, particularly to this Mohammedan. At this time, Mohammedan were outcast, low-class people, meat eater, beef eater, and they were accepted like very low class people, generally speaking. So when Advaita gave this remnants of food to Haridas, a lot of people were astonished, and it was recorded in the scriptures in order for the people to understand that what is not important is not the package of the salt, but the salt inside. So what we can see is just the package, but the salt is say inside that gives taste to the preparation, to the cooking, is not to be seen by ordinary eyes. You have to scrutinizingly analyze what is behind the package. So that was the message that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to convey to the people at large, that what is important is not the birth or the caste or the origin of the devotee, but his qualification, how much he likes Krishna and how much he can speak of Krishna. So that was the test, that because at this time the people were very much absorbed in this caste system. Even you see in a lot of temples in South India, very traditional. They forbid entrance to the foreigners, and even the devotee, like in Jagannath Puri. But Srila Prabhupada was against that. So he says that someone who practices spiritual life may become accustomed to the way of doing things in a pure goodness way. He becomes a Brahman. But to become a Vaishnava is another thing. It's more intimate because you have to be accustomed to be a lover of Vishnu or Krishna. Whilst the Brahmana may get moksha, but devotees are not interested by moksha. Are supposed to be not interested by moksha. But you see that a lot of devotees are interested in moksha. They want spiritual life in a bargaining way, or they want. We see this film about Govardhan here, where the author Vasudev he interviews those who practice Dandavat Parikrama, or on the hill, 21 kilometers, with stone, 108 sometimes, times. And what's the aim? So you see that they are interested in, like before the devatas, they ask for earth, wealth, health, for themselves or someone of the family. They want marriage, or they want good things, this, that. They want material benefits. But they very rarely will see a sadhu will say, yeah, I want to please Krishna and I want more love for Krishna. You will see, there's one or two sadhus. These are real sadhus. Others are like bargaining. What we come for devotional service, for what fruit? We may say, I want to love Krishna, but in the deep core of our heart, maybe we just want to get rid of this material world. We want moksha. You will get moksha, but you will not get pure love of Radha Krishna. Pure love of Radha Krishna is a very serious affair. It's not cheap, and we must get rid even the desire to go back to Godhead, to serve Lord Vishnu or Narayan in the Vaikuntha planets. Radha Krishna is more special. You have to be very serious after some time. What is the quality of our inner desires? So here we are speaking of the real Vaishnava, who are devotees who are enamored by Vishnu or Krishna. When there is a marriage, there's a lot of marriage in India, and people spend a lot of money for marrying their son or daughter. And for the marriage, so many people are coming. So the girl, to be married, what she wants a nice husband, beautiful. The mother, she is a little more intelligent. She wants the husband to be wealthy, because he can maintain his wife, the children, the family, etc. The father, he wants his, comment on dit le beau-fils? Son-in-law. Son-in-law?
Son-in-law.
Fils.
Un beau-fils.
The father, he wants his son-in-law to be responsible, to have some intelligence, a good job, in order to get money, in order, etc. And the member of the family, what they expect? They expect the future husband is well behaved, is a good family, good lineage, good education, in a nutshell, a gentleman. And those who come to the marriage, the others, what they expect? They expect sweets, good food, good festival, entertainment, dancing, the cinema, the theater behind, etc. So in devotional service we have to check also what we want ultimately. A position, good food in the festival, the sweets. We want liberation, or do we want Radha Krishna? Not so easy to analyze what our inner are feeling, because there's many obstacles in our spiritual life. Many problems in between devotees, this position, this. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he always gave this recipe. Tunyarapi sunichena tarorapi saishtu manina mananena kirtanya sadahari. And he says, you just tolerate. You be humbler than a blade of grass in the street. Everybody will trample you. No problem. I care, but I will again grow. So that the life of a piece of grass on the ground is like that. Many people trample or destroy. You tolerate. This is most difficult, because our false ego is still there. Whatever the situation, a devotee, a real devotee, doesn't cast his service away and keep it, even when he's angry because some people, they trample and they destroy a garden or something. It's normal, you have to protect your service. Because your service is the way that links you to Krishna. So you have to have some energy to protect it. So because you will meet some people who make obstacles in your service, some devotees. So you have to deal in a way not to crush the devotee, but in a way to also keep your service. So it requires some diplomacy, and also to be, of course, tolerant, humble. So the Vaishnava is like that. He sees good qualities. He knows the bad qualities because he already had or have them in his heart. So he can understand the situation of others because he knew he knows that they are also in his heart, and he does something to wash it, to flush it out. So like that, spiritual life is very different from Varnashram Dharma, where things are more in an automatic way. Varnashram Dharma, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said to Ramananda Roy in his dealing with him, escalating from one level to another level. So the first level was primary level, Varnashram Dharma. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, it's external, it's not the real thing. So Varnashram Dharma is a kind of requisite for people to be in the mode of goodness, to lead a life that is conducive to spiritual life. So that is the point of Varnashram Dharma. Now, David Varnashram Dharma is something else, because we have this relationship, sannyasi, vanaprashta, or brahmachari, grihastha, etc. So this is for the well-being of the society. Also the society of devotee, but the society of people at large. Like that they will be peaceful. But we are not supposed to forget the aim. The target is to be from the crude state, Prabhupada used this word, a crude man, to turn it into a pure devotee. In other words, a useless stone, turning it into a jewel. It requires a certain manipulation and a transformation of the heart to transform a crude stone into a jewel. It takes time and expertise. Sapphire are abundantly available in Thailand, but when you see them in a crude form, you will think it's just a stone in a, like in a river, they are round stone. They are agglomerated with clay, so many raw material. And these sapphire or precious other stones also, many stones over there. They look like ordinary stone. Just someone expert with a lamp, you see, yeah, interesting. He gives to someone who makes a first cutting and then can see inside. And with a particular process, polishing, etc., then it transforms and becomes a super jewel for a king or president or someone with a lot of money. So this process, you have to have some knowledge and also to distinguish who is fake, who is authentic. So Shukadev Goswami was showing the principle of the perfect spiritual master. You have some question or commentary? I will read it again. Srila Sutta Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that great sage, Sukadeva Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all. When he went away to take up the renounced order of life, sannyas, leaving home without undergoing reformation by the sacred thread, or the ceremonies observed by the higher castes, his father Vyasadeva, fearing separation from him, cried out, 'O my son, indeed only the trees which were absorbed in the same feeling of separation echoed in response to the grieved father.'" So we see how he was detached from family life. He stayed in the womb of his mother. How many years?
16.
15 years.
16 years.
16 years.
16 years.
Imagine, mystic power. To stay 16 years in the womb of his mother. Because he was absorbed in a Brahmajyoti bliss. He was a liberated soul. But he changed by the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by Yasadeva. Then he agreed to get out by his will. And when he get out not to come back. One-way ticket. No return. Even his father, hey my son, he didn't even turn away. He didn't answer. He just went away. This is Shukadeva Goswami. Kantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Prabhupada ki.